I never met Jeffrey Epstein, never had any connection or communication with him. I knew Ghislaine Maxwell casually as an
casually. She just knew her casually, guys. There's no connection whatsoever. Just casually. It's just, you know, not a big deal. Sure. Okay. We believe you, Hillary. We believe you.
Acquaintance. But whatever they asked me, I did my very best to respond. It was disappointing that they refused to hold a public hearing, so I wouldn't have to be out here characterizing it for you. You could have seen it for yourself. We had asked for that. We think it would have been better for the committee and its efforts to gather whatever information they are seeking. We had a bit of a challenge in the beginning because we had agreed upon rules based on the fact it was going to be a closed hearing at their demand. And one of the members violated that rule, which was very upsetting because it suggested that they might violate other of our agreements.
Hillary Clinton is a goddamn demon. Excuse me, taking a word. Stop taking it in vain. She is a demon. Damn to hell.
Okay, just wanted to clear that up for everybody. Okay.
Period of time until we could get assurances that no rules would be broken going forward, and we returned to answer questions repetitively, literally over and over again. I don't know how many times I had to say I did not know Jeffrey Epstein. I never went to his island. I never went to his homes. I never went to his offices. So it's on the record numerous times. It then got, at the end, quite unusual because I started being asked about UFOs and a series of questions about Pizzagate, one of the most vile, bogus conspiracy theories.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just very vile and bogus.
That was propagated on the internet.
On the internet?
That was serving as the basis of a member's questions to me. So I can only say that the best exchange that I had came at the very end when, contrary to every other...
Now, these are the rules. I don't make up the rules. But whenever we are talking about Hillary Clinton, we have to play the clip. These are the rules. I don't make the rules up. I have to follow the rules. I have no control over my own show. So just so we're clear, we have to play the clip.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Every single time it gets worse. It never gets better.
No Republican member asked any questions about Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell to anyone else they have deposed. And in fact, the Republican members didn't even show up for the deposition of Les Wexner. And when I said that,
we got to put this on 2x speed, man. She talks way too slow.
The only questions that any Republican member
1.5. This is terrible.
Of any of the people they deposed was of former Attorney General Bill Barr when Chairman Comer asked him about the allegations, in his view, about Russia's involvement in my election in 2016. So at the very end of this hearing, after I made that point, I want to commend Chairman Comer for raising a series of significant questions that I responded to about the nature of the investigation and the areas that I thought should be explored. So I appreciated that. I want to see the truth come out. So that was a reassuring way to end a very long...
Again, let's be clear. We are looking at one of the most evil people on the planet. All right? This is an evil person that would have been president of the United States of America if it was not for Trump. Never forget that.
Long, repetitive deposition.
Madam Secretary, you spoke in your opening remarks about how heartbroken you have been for the Epstein survivors as these files have come out. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you have processed and reacted to
okay, we got to back this up because the reporters are talking normal and then they go very fast at 1.5 speed. So let's go back to normal so we can hear these questions.
Long, repetitive deposition.
Madam Secretary, you spoke in your opening remarks about how heartbroken you have been for the Epstein survivors as these files have come out. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you have processed and reacted to the fact that the former president, your husband, Bill Clinton, is referenced in the Epstein files numerous times, including photos featuring women? And how have you been personally preparing for the deposition that is coming tomorrow? Are you 100% confident that there isn't anything that the former president knows about Epstein's crimes?
I am, and I think the chronology of the connection that he had with Epstein ended several years before anything about Epstein's criminal activities came to light, and that he was charged and sadly given a sweetheart deal, which, as I said in my statement, had that not happened, perhaps his predatory behavior could have been stopped earlier. But I think it is fair to say that the vast majority of people who had contact with him before his criminal pleas in 2008 were like most people. They did not know what he was doing. And I think that that is exactly what my husband will testify to tomorrow.
Madam Secretary, do you believe this was a fair hearing? And do you still want to testify publicly, even though
Just to be clear, Hillary Clinton is very, very upset at the victims. The victims. She's very concerned about that. Except Hillary Clinton used to attack and shame the women who had accused Bill Clinton of SA. Huh. That's interesting. She's really concerned about it now, though.
What role, if any, did you play in criticizing the character of the women who have accused Bill of sexual misconduct?
None. If somebody's willing to pay you $130,000 or $170,000 to say something, and you get your 15 minutes of fame, and you get your picture on the front page of every newspaper, and you're some failed cabaret singer who doesn't even have much of a resume to fall back on, and what's there she's lied about. You know, that's the daughter of Willie Horton, as far as I'm concerned.
Man, she seems very sympathetic to victims. I'm so glad Hillary cares about victims now.
Well, I'm not going to do it again. You know, they had a chance to do it in public, and I wish they had done it in public. And I think they're making the wrong decision, avoiding doing it in public. I thought it was very repetitive. I thought that they asked literally the same questions over and over again, which didn't seem to me to be very productive. And then, as I said, toward the end, you know, there were other questions that were totally off subject. So if they are going to fulfill their responsibilities to literally investigate.
Hillary stumbled more today than when she was tossed in that van. That was a crazy, crazy video back during the 2016 campaign where Hillary Clinton, yeah, I mean, she looked like she was gone. Like, I don't know what happened there. So, like, it's not even, like, I don't even think it's her. I have no idea. Like, maybe that's the real Hillary and this was a fake one. I don't know. That is a wild right there. So you see right there, you see how she's. That is crazy, man. What an odd scenario.
The investigations, which is what they originally said was the scope of their work. I think they could have spent the day more productively.
Madam Secretary, can I ask? Yeah, James Matthews, Sky News. Can I ask, why was Ghislaine Maxwell invited to the daughter of Chelsea Clinton's wedding in 2000?
Here's the question right here. Why was she at Chelsea Clinton's wedding? All right. All right. Here we go. Let's back this up. Here we go.
Ghislaine Maxwell invited to the daughter of Chelsea Clinton's wedding in 2010. She'd already been mentioned in a civil lawsuit by Virginia Giuffre before that. Jeffrey Epstein had already been convicted before that.
She came as the +1, the guest of someone who was invited.
Thank you, everybody.
What? This is a former president and a former first lady, secretary of state. You got the daughter of a former president, and you're just telling me people can just show up as +1s without any investigation or anything like that? And you think we're going to believe that? Holy crap. That is a very prepared answer.
She came as the +1, the guest of someone who was invited.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
She sure enough ran as soon as that question came up, because she knew that a follow-up question was going to happen, and she did not want to answer a follow-up question at all. She did not want to. Holy crap. All right, here we got Jesse Waters covering it.
That rule, which was
Hillary made a fuss to chew up clock because she didn't want to be there. She testified that she never met Epstein, even though he'd been to the White House 16 times. It was supposed to be a co-presidency, remember? A 2-for-1 deal. Hillary moved her office into the West Wing, but Hillary doesn't remember.
The number of times that she said, "I don't know, you'll have to ask my husband," was more than a dozen, and I'll put it like that.
Maybe they didn't meet, maybe they did, but Bill does a lot of things when Hillary's not looking. But this
Remember the Trump tweet? If Hillary Clinton can't satisfy her husband, what makes you think she can satisfy America? Holy shit. Trump is undefeated. You will never, ever find another president like this. All right. Oh, shit. So good. So good. All right, let's go back to this.
But was more than a dozen, and I'll put it like that.
Maybe they didn't meet, maybe they did, but Bill does a lot of things when Hillary's not looking. But this email's interesting. In the Epstein files, someone emailed the sex offender, quote, "I know you are close with Hillary, but if she gets the nomination and you vote for her, I'll effing kill you." Did Hillary meet Epstein? Maybe, maybe not. But we do know this.
I knew Ghislaine Maxwell casually as an acquaintance, but whatever they asked me, I did my very best to respond.
Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine, went to Chelsea Clinton's wedding. When she was asked about this, she ran like the wind.
Can I ask, why was Ghislaine Maxwell invited to the daughter of Chelsea Clinton's wedding in 2010? She'd already been mentioned in a civil lawsuit by Virginia Giuffre before that. Jeffrey Epstein had already been convicted.
She came as the +1, the guest of someone who was invited.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
Now, okay, so I want to be, you guys know I try to be as fair as I possibly can, regardless of what we're covering, who we're talking about. Sometimes people get mad at me for that. So one thing we have to establish is that regardless of how much we may not like the Clintons, okay, fair is fair. And one thing we know is that the Clintons, specifically Bill, but both of them, have always been very, very honest. Here's Bill Clinton.
I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
Fair is fair. They've never lied. They've always been super honest. They've never lied. So I don't know why you think they would lie now when they've never lied before. All right. Very, very honest people.
You don't know who did spend a lot of time with Epstein? Bill Clinton. There's dozens of photos in the files. Here's Bubba and a girl in a hot tub. Hillary says her hubby was just saving lives.
It wasn't a hot tub on a plane. It was one of the stops they made to look at philanthropic and charitable work that my husband has done, saving literally millions of lives.
Oh God. Seriously, does anybody really believe this? Like, who are you? Who are you if you believe this?
Around the world. It turned out that was done long before there was any public awareness and certainly any conviction of any crime by Jeffrey Epstein. So it was a short period of time that was in pursuit of charitable philanthropic work.
Charitable work. That's a new name for it. Here's Bill doing more charity. We all know how much Bill loves to give back. The former president will have his chance to set the record straight tomorrow when he goes under oath, but we all know how he got the name Slick Willie.
Is that correct? Yeah, it depends upon what the meaning of the word is. Yes.
Hillary says she's not worried. Bill would never do something inappropriate.
Are you 100% confident that there isn't anything that the former president knows about Epstein's crimes?
I am, and I think the chronology of the connection that he had with Epstein ended several years before anything about Epstein's criminal activities came to light.
Yeah, I'm sure he was a really good guy up to that point. I'm sure that's what it was. So Bill and Epstein were just traveling around, saving the world, saving lives, and just, working together to make the world a better place. That's just what was going on, guys. It was just, that's what was happening. Okay.
If anybody thinks this is some partisan witch hunt, or as the Clintons call it, a fast right-wing conspiracy, you're wrong.
I think one thing that surprised the Clintons, they assumed the Democrats on the committee would vote in a partisan manner and not vote to hold the Clintons in contempt. And what they learned was a majority of the Democrats on the committee either voted to hold the Clintons in contempt or voted present.
The Epstein fallout has Clinton and Obama operatives dropping like flies. Yesterday, Larry Summers had to resign from his position at Harvard. And now it's come out that not only did the Ivy League take $9 million from the perv, they gave him his own office. And Harvard faculty was accepting free flights and business deals from the sex trafficker. Epstein was giving Larry Summers consulting gigs in places like Mongolia and Kazakhstan. Like we've been saying, it's going global. The head of the World Economic Forum, the guys who tell us to eat insects, Borge Brende, suddenly resigned because of the Epstein files. One of the Rothschilds, the European banking dynasty, all over the Epstein files. And the Swiss bankers, all they're saying so far is they're monitoring the situation.
Monitoring the situation.
JB Pritzker's cousin, Thomas, just resigned from the board of Hyatt Hotels. JB's like, I only see my cousin on holidays.
A cousin of yours has been in the news with regards to the Epstein files, Thomas Pritzker. He just recently resigned from the board of the Hyatt company.
Look, I've said from the beginning that anyone that's done something wrong needs to be held accountable. And I really mean anyone. I'm not close to my cousin, but I can tell you that it's very important that people be held to pay the price for whatever it is that they may have done.
There are millions of documents in the Epstein files, and we're just starting to go through them. Everyone's on edge.
It's not I'm from Alabama. My entire family's fucked up, but it's not about the fact that you have someone related to you. It's that we know that if Trump had even a distant family member that was directly tied into this, we know how the Democrats would use that. We know exactly what the Democrats would do in that situation. That's the problem, is that they virtue signal so much and project so much. And then when it's on them, all of a sudden they're like, oh, it's not even a big deal. Pieces of shit.
Even Epstein's own brother.
I didn't see him for 7 years before he died, although we were always in communication with phones and emails. So I didn't know what he was up to. A lot of the stuff that's come out is surprising to me. I wasn't aware of a lot of this stuff. And I'm going to say, like, with him, even though he's my brother, that was his problem. And now that he's dead, it's not his problem anymore. So again, unfortunately, I really don't care, to be honest with you. I'm just concerned that my brother, whoever and whatever he was murdered. That's my concern.
But you care about the victims, I presume, of your brother.
These are the questions I don't get into. So have a good day.
The Telegraph also reports that Epstein paid private detectives to remove items from his Florida property ahead of a police raid. They hid it in a secret storage locker, which contained 3 computers, videotapes, sex slave manuals, and illicit photographs. A Palm Beach lockup contained 29 address books, a 3-page list of masseuses, and tons of porn. The Palm Beach police chief said Epstein's home had been cleaned up and certain computer material was missing, including surveillance equipment. We also found out last night that the DOJ had labeled Epstein's suicide as a murder in some documents. There were also questions about the noose.
The forensic pathologist who was hired by Jeffrey Epstein's.
I just want to make sure that if Bubba Wallace is watching this, I just want to apologize for the use of the word noose. Please don't call the FBI and have everything investigated. I know that you get really triggered over that, and I just want to let him. And we don't need to have like 25 FBI agents come to Talladega, Alabama again so we can investigate a garage door pull. We don't need to do that, Bubba Smollett, okay? You piece of shit.
His brother, to observe the autopsy, said that there was no blood on the noose, even though there's blood on Jeffrey Epstein's neck in the photographs. We're learning from the documents that the guard who cut Jeffrey Epstein down says he's not sure which noose was given to the investigators, and DNA testing was done. It may have been on the wrong ligature. It may have been done on the wrong noose.
Plus, there was something off about the head count in the prison that night. A new video shows a strange orange figure flashing by the corner of a surveillance camera the night before Epstein died.
There's been scrutiny of a particular moment on the cell block surveillance footage where an orange-looking flash could be seen at 10:30.
This is so funny. I love this shit so much.
39 p.m. A report from the Justice Department Inspector General notes the flash, quote, "It is possible someone is carrying inmate linen or bedding up the stairs." And the final report refers to it as, quote, "an unidentified corrections officer." But now, newly released Justice Department documents reveal an initial FBI review of surveillance video on the cell block says the flash could possibly be an inmate. And independent video analysts consulted by CBS News say the movement was more consistent with an inmate.
This is really getting mysterious. And I'm sure Bill Clinton will clear everything up tomorrow.
He's going to clear it all up. Bill Clinton's going to take care of all the issues we have, all of the concerns. Now, obviously, today we had the situation with Lauren Boebert sending a picture of Hillary Clinton during the deposition to Benny Johnson, and that created a big firestorm. And again, man, self-awareness and the way that you respond to things is gold. So at the time, I said, I don't really know what the point of this was, what the benefit of this was. I'm not sure how this was helpful. But ultimately, her response was perfect.
I really admired her blue suit, so I wanted to capture that for everyone.
Why did you send the picture? Why did you send the picture?
Why not?
Why did you send the picture? Why not? So damn good. All right. So, like, this is it. Don't care. Don't care if you're offended. Don't care if it offends you. Don't care. That is freaking perfect. All right. So that's the way you handle it.
Blue suit, so I wanted to capture that for everyone.
Why did you send the picture? Why did you send the picture?
Why not?
All right. That is a perfect answer. Very, very happy with that one. Anna Paulina Luna talking about today's Hillary Clinton deposition. Here we go.
Look, I am a candidate. I've been a candidate for office. I'm an elected official. And when you have top tier donors, of which the Epstein, Maxwell entire apparatus was, you know the names of your donors and individuals. And I do find it hard to believe that she didn't know of the relationship between the two. Obviously, you had said that, and there is White House logs that Epstein attended the White House many times. There was also 2 reports of Ghislaine Maxwell kind of in and out of the same circles. And so, you know, I think the question is whether or not they were being targeted, but also to remember, you know, when you hear the Clintons specifically say, oh, well, Bill Clinton cut all ties with Jeffrey Epstein before the actual charges were brought forward. Well, remember, President Trump has said the same thing. And yet the way that the DNC, the way that the Democrats are trying to use this is to smear the president. And I actually brought this up in the press gaggle today, in that we've asked the victims specifically on whether or not President Trump had hurt them. And he was exonerated. He released the files, and they don't want to report that. What they want to try to do is take this and have us say on record whether or not we will subpoena the president to come testify, in which I respond, the president is not considered a person of interest in this investigation.
He is to them. This is their obsession. Their obsession is Trump. This is all they care about is Trump, 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 Trump. They don't care about Hillary. They don't care about Bill. They don't care about the victims. They don't care about Epstein. They don't care about anyone. They only want Trump.
He's been nothing but cooperative, at least with us and members of the task force. And I think that his record will reflect that he has released all files. It was also interesting to note that we inquired on how many files did President Biden release. The answer is 0.
0. Because why would Biden release anything? No one was talking about the Epstein situation when Joe Biden was in office. But magically, just like Black Lives Matter, as soon as the political landscape changes, suddenly everybody cares about this thing that's getting so much traction all of a sudden. So that's where we are. Benny Johnson says, we are witnessing the fall of Jeffrey Epstein's network of global elites, and it's just beginning since the release of the Epstein files. Prince Andrew, and you just see the list of people that have been, caught up in all of this. And we'll see, but no one actually cares about any of this. They only care about Trump, Trump, Trump. That's the only thing they care about.